I think for Memorial Day, I'm gonna get, try to get my kids up on fire truck so that they can have to wind.
Didn't you?
So the boys wanna be up there? Maybe TJ?
Maybe. Just who's gonna watch them? Make sure they don't fall off.
Jillian.
Okay, we are live and linked up. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Nate.
Take 2. 7 PM work session meeting is now called to order. Can I get a roll call of the Township Committee?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Mr. Butchko?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Melchior?
Here.
Mr. Shanley?
Here.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Here. And now can I get a reading of the open work session statement?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank
Please take notice that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4 through 6 et seq., and in consideration of Executive Order Number 103, issued by Governor Murphy on March 9, 2020, declaring a state of emergency in the state of New Jersey, the Township Committee of the Township of Wykoff is hereby notified the public that to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens while ensuring the continued functioning of government, this meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Wykoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Tuesday, April 27, 2021, at Wykoff Town Hall, 340 Franklin Avenue, Wykoff, New Jersey, 07481, will be live streamed via the Township of Wykoff's YouTube channel. And members of the public may call 201-891-7000, extension 222, should they wish to provide public comment during the public comment period. Members of the public may also email their public comments to wykoff-clerk@wykoff-nj.com before 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting. These comments will be read at the meeting during the public comment period. These measures are implemented to allow members of the public to observe the meeting via live streaming and to provide to the public the ability to comment before the meeting through written comments, as well as during the period for public comment which appears on the agenda for the meeting. This notice and agenda have been posted on the front door of Town Hall, facing Franklin Avenue, and on the Township's homepage, wykoff-nj.com, at the quick link for minutes and agendas on Friday, April 23rd, 2021. Please select Township Committee and locate the date of the meeting to view documents such as resolutions and ordinances which would otherwise be made available. General instructions regarding access to the meeting will be posted on the Wykoff website's homepage at wykoff-nj.com as a news item on Friday, April 23rd, 2021 by 4:30 p.m. To view the Township Committee meeting via live stream, please access the YouTube link, which will be posted on the Wykoff website's homepage at wykoff-nj.com as a news item immediately prior to the commencement of the meeting at approximately 6:55 p.m. on April 27, 2021. To be notified of all future live stream Township meetings, please create a YouTube account and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Township of Wykoff. In the event the YouTube platform modifies its connectivity protocols and does not announce these critical changes again in the future, instructions on how to view each meeting via Zoom technology will be posted at the news section of the Township's homepage, wykoff-nj.com, before 7:10 p.m. This second method is provided to ensure the continuity of government when platforms which the Township does not control establish unannounced changes and will only be utilized if it is not possible to conduct the meeting via live stream on YouTube. As a precaution for this Plan B, the following instructions are provided. Please locate the link posted on the news item announcing the Township Committee meeting on the homepage of our website and use this link for the April 27, 2021 meeting set to begin at 7 p.m. This regular work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk as well as the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the Township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers. The agenda with the resolutions and ordinances to be considered was posted on the Township's website at Minutes and Agendas on the Friday prior to this meeting.
Thank you, Nancy. Has the Finance Committee reviewed and signed all the vouchers?
They have.
Thank you. Any public comments written received by 3 o'clock today?
No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to open the 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Wykoff?
So move. Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchior?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. Please call 201-891-7000, extension 222, if you wish to make a comment. Hearing no one, can I get a motion to close the public comment period?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Boszta?
Yes.
Mr. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. Can I get a review of the 8 PM business meeting agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor. The agenda is as was posted on Friday, April 23rd, with the resolutions and ordinances which will be further considered and introduced. I do want to point out that we have a public hearing and further consideration this evening on ordinance 1931. This appropriates a Bergen County open space grant, which includes various safety enhancements in Memorial Field. That's all I have on the agenda.
Okay, PAIs?
PIs, our next meeting is next Tuesday, May 4th, and I've been speaking with Mr. Randall. I hope to have for your consideration at that meeting for introduction, the municipal open space tax for the ballot next year, or ballot later this year. Next meeting, we will also have a public hearing that's required for the next open space grant. This is the project which you have determined will complete the flexi-pave material on the recreation path at the Russell Farms Community Park. The Bergen County has approved the township's declaration of intent to submit a grant. Next meeting, I hope to have obtained from New Jersey DOT the approval of the bid specifications that would allow bidding to begin for the Mountain Avenue paving project. The township had received a request to express that they are in support of the drainage improvement that New Jersey DOT plans to do next year or the year after by improving the drainage under Route 208. I had a draft of some comments. If that's acceptable and that reflects the governing body's thinking, I can forward that to tomorrow.
Okay. I just want to be clear that my comment was not to use the Russell 208 infield for a staging area, but that it be restored properly if they do use it. It's a Wyckoff project. I would imagine they'll be using that as a staging
I
area.
was gonna think, when I read your comment, I think they're going to use it,
Yeah,
so
that
we should
would-
definitely ask that it be restored.
My emphasis is on restoration.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even ask them to not use it, quite honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't
because
either, because I think they are gonna use it.
Yeah, maybe I misstated that wrong, but I don't want to
Right.
ask them not to use it. But
Yeah.
what I want to emphasize that they need to restore actually in a better condition than it currently is.
Right,
Yeah,
because they
that's
use it
what
as
I'm
a
thinking.
staging area for things that are down the road.
Well,
not in
but
Wyckoff.
they've
I
pretty
know.
much gotten away from that. But this is a Wyckoff project, so I would expect they would be using that area, which is okay, as long as restoration is properly done.
That's
So-
been noted, and I will
Okay.
make that
Thank you.
clear.
Thank you.
The township received a request from a son of a resident who is going to be 94 later this year, and it would seem to me it would be appropriate to put together a letter of resolution honoring that individual for his longevity. If that meets with your approval, I will contact the person who requested it and tell them we'll work on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think anyone who accomplished what this individual has accomplished is entitled to a resolution, quite honestly, from the Township Committee, especially in light of the fact that he's a former police chief. So I'd like to add that on there.
I mean, I would even ask his son if they would like to attend the township committee
Yeah,
meeting. I mean,
sure.
I don't know what his
Sure.
capabilities are,
Yeah.
but I would like to extend the invitation.
I believe he's a lifelong resident also.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that concludes my brief remarks for this evening.
Township committee reports, Rudy?
Sure. The Wyckoff Environmental Commission has had a busy couple of weeks. On the 17th, we had a successful composting event at Russell Farms Park. We had about 30 people attend, which was probably 3 times more than the most that have attended previously. There are a lot of questions, a lot of good discussion. and sold out of composters. So that's a good sign.
How many were sold?
15, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like
believe-
we've only sold one or two the
Yeah.
last few events.
Yeah, I believe it was 15.
I bought one. Started my compost.
Thank you, Pete. As former
At the
chair
day
of
of
the
the event,
Environmental
yeah.
Commission, we would expect nothing less, quite honestly. So, but thank you. The Shred Fest was a week ago, Friday, and last Friday, rather, and it was successful. It was conducted in a compliant way. We had 325 cars who deposited papers for shredding. There was also a police officer there with a drug take-back, prescription drug take-back bag, and he collected 26 and a half pounds of drugs. We also hosted at the same day in the same location, which was at Wyckoff Community Park, which incidentally is a much better location for these events than the DPW yard. There's a lot more room to spread out. There's a lot more room to queue up vehicles with people carrying shredding events or prescription drugs, or in this case, styrofoam. We collected about 6 cubic yards of styrofoam. We don't have the weight yet. We have not brought it to the collection center. That'll be in a couple of weeks because they're backlogged. When we do that, I'll have the weight of the styrofoam to report at that time. We also had on Saturday Team Up to Tidy Up, which was also a COVID-compliant event. We collected 20, where there were a large number of recyclers. I think the Rotary Club had the largest group out there. If anyone else is, apologies to anyone else who had a larger group. We had 21 bags of recyclables and 91 bags of garbage from around town in semi-public locations. And it's an annual event that we actually won a nice award for last year. And it helps beautify our town and kick off the summer season in the right way. Going back to my role as DPW Commissioner from last year, when we planned this, the Mountain Avenue culvert repair was completed in 6 days, which was 3 days ahead of the scheduled time, and the road reopened on April 21st. And thanks are to Scott Fisher, Mark DeGennaro, Boswell Engineering, Pete Tenkate, our DPW staff, and the police department for taking care of traffic control on that. So that was a long overdue project, which we managed to bring in actually under original budget, and it's finally done. And curbside leaf collection is completed. Sewers, Tom and I are working on a sewer extension yet on Evers. We have some numbers to go see the Evers Street. We have some numbers. This is in addition to the sewer project that we approved on Evers Street and Hillside and Paul Court. Tom and I are working on that. We have some numbers to go see the residents with. Planning Board met last week, and we approved a soil movement permit for a home on Root Farm Road, and a fence permit for a home on the corner of Ellis and James, whose backyard is directly adjacent to 208 across from James Way. The Gary Kale application, the represented Gary Kale application on Van Houten Ave, was declared incomplete because the board deemed it to be the same, basically the same application as was denied in June of 2020. So the board refused to hear the new application and referred it to the Engineering and Building Department for enforcement. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Tim?
I'll be very brief. I just want to report on the rec department. The registration is now open for football, flag football, rec soccer, and cheerleading. And I believe it's open till the middle of May. So that is open. And Rudy, thank you for reporting on the DPW and the Mountain Avenue. It was a rough 2 weeks for me with the death of my father.
Yes.
So I want to thank the hundreds of condolences I received over the last 2 weeks. It's been a rough go of it. There isn't a day or morning that I wake up and I don't think of my dad and miss him every day. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
And Rudy and Tom, thank you for making the trip down. It was not an easy trip, so thank you for coming to the wake.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Tom?
I have a few things. I'll try to enunciate so you can understand me. The first thing is the fire department, as fire commissioner, I continue to be impressed all the time with our volunteer fire department. They continue to do their weekly activity of drills and training, and they are getting together at their individual fire stations. And again, just can't thank them enough. And we're very fortunate in town to have such a professional group of volunteers. I had an opportunity to meet with Pete Melchione and the Parade Committee, and I expect him to go into much more detail on the Parade Committee. I'm excited about the banner program, which I mentioned the last time, and I had the opportunity to order one from my grandfather, and it really come out great. So anybody that's out there, you got to get them in, because the deadline is Friday, April 30th. But they're really terrific. It's a nice tribute to a family member or a friend or someone you know. I attended the K-8 Board of Education meeting last night, which was actually their first meeting after 6 weeks. They hadn't met since the middle of March. It was their budget meeting. The highlights are as follows. Their population is stable. I think they had an increase or a decrease of 1 student over the past 6 weeks. They're hoping for full-day kindergarten this year. Apparently, they're putting out a survey. They haven't finalized it yet. I know that some of the board members expressed a preference, and many parents, for full-day kindergarten. It's not finalized yet, but they're hoping for it. They did apply their surplus from last year. They had quite a surplus. They applied their surplus along with additional state aid to tax relief, which benefits our taxpayers. The average home, it's a decrease of $20, which is important because the K-8 school, as we know, is 46% of the budget in the town of a person's taxes, and it was a nice presentation. And then we talked about Team Up to Tidy Up, which was last Saturday, very successful. Congratulations to Denise to coordinating it, and those others on the Environmental Commission that coordinated it and put it together. I was part of the Rotary team. I think there was 13 of us, and we went up and down the railroad tracks and the beds and went all along 208 by James Way. So we had a very active day, and it's a nice thing for the town. And again, congratulations. It's an annual event. I think I've been in town 38 Team Up to Tidy Up days. I think I participated in 35 of them. So it's a really nice event. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Pete?
All right, thanks, Mayor. A few things. First, from the Personnel Committee, I want to thank the Finance Committee along with the Township who worked diligently this year on crafting this year's budget. We did not have the funds to do everything we wanted to do or to approve every project and still remain at a reasonable tax rate. We held the line on spending and made some improvements to improve efficiencies. Again, we were not able to do all we wanted. This year, we will look to do what we do less expensively and continue to look at every nook and cranny to save costs. We need to explore more shared services and technologies to continue to hold the line on spending. That's what I have from personnel. And then Tom mentioned about the Memorial Day Parade. Typically, the beginning of every year, the Township Committee appoints a Memorial Day Parade chairperson. And since we were in limbo about having Memorial Day Parade and past Memorial Day Parade, chair was stepping down. I would like to make a motion to appoint Eric Rubenacher, the chair for the Memorial Day Parade.
Do we need to vote on that?
I would second it that we put it on our agenda. I don't know, can we do it separately or put it on?
I don't even know if we need to vote on it, do we?
Typically,
I would think we do.
Yeah.
typically it's voted on every year.
Okay. All right, so can we put it on the consent agenda?
If you want to, you can do it now.
That's
whatever's
fine.
easiest.
I don't know, whatever.
We can put it on the consent
Well,
agenda.
we have the time now. Why don't we do it
Okay,
now?
I'll second that
Okay.
motion.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Bostrer?
Yes?
Mr. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then with regard to the parade, it's moving along, every meeting. There's been about a meeting every, about 2 weeks, and everything's coming along nicely. We're full go for the ceremony and the parade. I know last meeting, we talked about the route of the parade. It's changed slightly. It's going back to the original format of the parade route, which will basically proceed from Cornerstone Church, down Wyckoff Ave, across Franklin Ave, and continue on to Main Street. And then across Franklin Ave and ending out the Town Hall parking lot through the Fire Department parking lot. There will be no food and beverages at the end of the parade this year for safety reasons, along with when there's any pickups, the Memorial Day Parade Committee with their volunteers and marshals are going to keep everybody moving, so there's no congregation after the parade, and everybody's going to, get picked up and move out through the parking lots. We're also asking, any family members, if they could sit with themselves within their family along the parade route, if possible, social distance. I know it's still a little bit ways out, and, we don't know what things are gonna look like, but everything's improving, so the parade's a go. I think just the 2 flyers also went out, the Memorial Day Parade form for anyone that wants to sign up to march in the parade. We need everybody's contact information this year so we could start the parade in an organized fashion. There will be no candy or give outs in past years along the parade route this year. And then also another flyer went out for sponsorships. The sponsorship money goes to the VFW to pay their part for the costs of the parade. I know Tom's been out to meetings. Did I miss anything?
It is,
there?
but one thing for clarification.
Yeah.
So as is in the past, those that are gonna be marching and participating in the parade will report to Cornerstone Church, and they will be assigned a destination further up the street towards the Reformed Church. The parade will actually kick off by the Reformed Church
Oh, yeah, that's right,
parking
yeah.
lot. So you're
Thank
correct, you go to Reformed Church, the parade participants to get your assignments on the side streets, just before the Reformed Church.
Are
So
we-
Pete, is there no ceremony
No.
for a church, by the church?
No, we are
there's,
doing-
there's going to be a
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
8:30 a.m. is
Okay.
the firefighter service at Company 1. 10 a.m. is the memorial service at the Reformed Church, and then the parade kickoff
Okay.
is at
All
11:30
right,
a.m.
very good. I just didn't hear
Yeah.
that, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Wait, I have a question quickly. Should we have all the parade participants do COVID waivers? We do it for all the rec sports, especially if we're gonna have children marching.
Well,
Not me,
it's
Joe.
gonna be very limited on children marching this year, like in past years, they're limited to the,
I'm
I don't
just telling you,
even sport-
every time we play a baseball game or go to lacrosse practice, we have to fill out a COVID waiver. Yeah,
we
every single time we get together.
We don't
need a
know yet
separate
how many
waiver.
people are having. The flyer just went out last week, so they'll be coming in.
It's not a bad idea if you can get them to do it.
Each individual person marching.
Yeah.
Children only, or every person?
I don't know, it's up to Rob, but like, sorry. But I mean, I'm just saying, for rec, every time we get these kids together, we have to do a waiver. So I think it would be prudent to have them sign a waiver. Because if some kid tests positive for COVID and they've been marching in the parade next to some other kid,
Okay, I'll bring that up. The parade committee is meeting tomorrow night, so we'll
I
bring
mean,
up.
adults are all eligible for the vaccine, so it's sort of up to the adults. The children aren't eligible for the vaccine
I guess
yet.
that's something that could be emailed to the contact person and have on.
The parents, yeah. And it's something that can be done electronically now, too.
The age cutoff is?
16.
16, so it'll be anyone under 16?
I mean, we can talk about it, but since we're making all the other town activities do it.
Well, at that
These are-
point,
These are rec. so
No,
these-
the kids aren't gonna be.
These are baseball players and lacrosse players, or
No, they're not in the parade.
it's very limited this year to the children participating for that exact reason.
Right.
Are
You know,
Boy
the
Scouts
crowds,
participating?
They are, but-
Boy Scouts, not Cub Scouts.
not Cub Scouts, not
Girl
Brownies,
Scouts,
Girl
not younger
Scouts, so the
ones.
older ones.
And
But
then-
even, like, when
and
the
then
Cub
members of the
Scouts-
bands.
When the
which
Boy
could be
Scouts and the Girl
freshmen
Scouts
in high
meet,
school.
they also have to sign a COVID waiver every time. Because I've been to the Girl Scout meetings and they have to sign a
They're
waiver.
doing it prior to the meetings and prior to individual practices, not just one in the beginning of the year, they're doing, so that the rec team.
Every practice, every game, every Girl Scout and Boy Scout meeting.
All right, we'll bring it up with the parade committee and we'll, report back
If that's how vigilant
next
the
meeting
rec-
on
rec
it.
Department's already being, I would
Yeah.
think so, yes.
okay,
Question?
yes,
So the parade route
yeah.
will actually begin in the area of like Pinewood, Hartung Drive?
That's
Right there.
where the
Not-
lineup's gonna be like it was done years ago.
All right, we need to then, because people will start taking their seats along the parade route between Cornerstone and Pinewood.
Yeah,
There
the-
will be no parade there.
Right, so
Well, that's what I
the,
was trying to clarify, to make sure they know that.
yeah, and the VFW has their volunteers and their
Okay.
marshals who are gonna be setting up cones and signs
Okay,
for
okay.
designated areas for
Okay.
staging the
Okay.
parade.
Okay,
But, no, it's a good point, thank you, Rudy.
thank you.
Tom touched on the military tribute banners, deadline's the end of the week, we're getting a pretty good response, a lot of people doing it last minute, which is fine, because we still have a few more days left. If anyone wants to see a sample banner, there is one hanging up, in the parking lot by Company One, right in front of the firehouse over there. It looks really great, so if anyone, wants to go take a look in person, it's up over there. And then lastly, I just want to thank the Shade Tree Commission again for their work, and a lot of them volunteered their time to transplant the trees from the Russell Tree Farm Park in anticipation for this coming Arbor Day, which is Friday, April 30th, and that's all I have.
Thank you. So I want to read a letter that I just received. I'm not going to say who read it because it was just, who wrote it because it was just sent to me, but very complimentary of people in our town. Dear Mayor Rubenstein, I would like to send my most heartfelt thanks to all the wonderful men and women in Wyckoff who helped my husband and I during a very, very difficult time for both of us during and after the blizzard in February. No one could ask for better people when in need. They are the best. And they specifically noted EMTs Katie Steenvoorden and Randy Banks, police officers Kyle Sharm, and Caitlin Maglione, Michael Scalise, and Ryan Noon, and John and Mark from the DPW. So I just wanted to,
Nice.
wanted to share that with everybody. Also, I received notice that Wyckoff resident Andrew Dispenza is going to be awarded the rank of Eagle Scout at Bethany Church Saturday, May 29th at 4 p.m. So if anybody can attend that, it's his Eagle Court ceremony.
We'll have Christine put that on upcoming events. So we'll stand up on it. Thank you.
And finally, just want to note that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and something that's particularly important to me. And I want to read the resolution that we're passing, if that's okay with everybody. Whereas Mental Health Awareness Month has been observed in May in the United States since 1949, reaching millions of people in the United States through media, local events, and screenings. Whereas mental health is important for our individual well-being and vitality, as well as that of our families, communities, and businesses. And whereas 1 in 5 Americans experience a mental health illness that requires treatment at some point in our lives, and whereas 1 in 10 children has a serious emotional disturbance that, if untreated, can lead to school failure, physical illness, substance use, jail, and even suicide. And whereas May 7th has been designated the National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, and whereas stigma and stereotypes associated with mental illness often keep people from seeking treatment that could improve their quality of life. And whereas what mental illness is biologically based brain disorder that cannot be overcome through willpower and is not related to a defect in the person's character or intelligence. And whereas mental health recovery is a journey of healing and transformation, enabling people with a mental illness to live in a community of his or her choice while striving to achieve his or her full potential. And whereas mental health recovery not only benefits individuals with mental health disorders by focusing on their abilities to live, work, learn, and fully participate and contribute to society, but also enriches the culture of our community life. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Wykoff, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey does hereby recognize the month of May 2021, we just need to change that, as Mental Health Awareness Month and calls upon citizens, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to promote awareness and understanding of mental health illness and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health illness to promote recovery. And I hope that throughout the month of May, that we can have resources both for children and adults on our website, because as most people know, during the pandemic, it's been very difficult to obtain mental health services. A lot of it is still being done virtually, and it's been very difficult for people to get in-person help with mental health issues. So hopefully we can provide resources for anyone who needs it. And that's all I have. Rob, do you have anything?
I've got, we're on for closed session, so I can update you on some litigation. I've got a meeting on Friday with the county representatives and the owner of the Maple Lake property to try to hammer out the final revisions to the plan with respect to the county application. So hopefully that'll be the last meeting, we'll get the county approval, they'll move ahead with the acquisition. And as Bob said, making a few revisions to some markups we had to the ordinance for the extension of the open space tax, and I'll have that for you in the packets Friday.
Great.
Okay, that's it.
All right, then can I have